Hello and welcome to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Grand Arena Championships, Season 36, Week 3, Round 2. My name is Boma Fett. I'm currently 5-2 on the season, so I've already secured a winning record for the season, and the rest is gravy. Let's see who my opponent is this round. Artanios. If that sounds familiar, it's because I faced Artanios twice before. I think I only made video of one of those two matches, but this is my third time facing this same guy. So let's go to the Hotbot for a quick comparison. The Hotbot report shows a bit more red on Artanios' side than green on my side, but let's zoom in and take a closer look. The GAC stats definitely lean in my direction, and they also suggest that Artanios is more of an offensive player than defensive player. Artanios has nearly 600,000 more overall GP than I have, and that includes almost 250,000 more in the top 80. Artanios has 18 more Zetas and 4 more Omicrons applied, but I have a touch more speed at the top of my roster, both in the Gear 11 and above and in the top 80. That's reflected here in the mod analysis, where I have more mods with high-speed secondaries. I also have a few more 6-stop mods. Artanios has a big advantage in Gear 13 characters, 134 to 96. That's 38 more Gear 13 characters. That's more than 12 full squads of Gear 13 characters in 3v3. And that advantage is even greater when you look at the relic analysis. Nearly 300 total relic levels more, 728 to 459. And of course, more relic levels means more opportunity for applying datacrons. Now, it doesn't look like Artanios has very many datacrons, but of the datacrons that he has, 4 of them are level 9s. There's an SLKR, a Cad Bane, a First Order Stormtrooper, and an IG-88. The last time I faced Artanios, it was 5 Galactic Legends to 2, now it's 6 Galactic Legends to 3. So exactly the same difference. In the key characters, the only thing that jumps out here is that his Ben Solo is only Gear 9. The reason that's a little surprising is because he has Rey, and so if you have Rey, you definitely want to relic your Ben Solo. Artanios has a 5-star Profundity. I'm still waiting for the Profundity event to roll back around. I just missed getting it at the end of December, but I wasn't willing to pay $65 to put 2 more relic levels on my AdRad. And in the other new characters, he does not have the Grand Inquisitor, but he's very close. He's got 4 out of his 5 Inquisitors relic, and the other one is Gear 12. Neither one of us has Dr. Aphra or the Scythe or Reva, obviously, but Artanios has not even unlocked Sonastaros and has not put any investment yet into Hondo or Zori Bliss. So as with the last 2 times I faced Artanios, this is definitely an uphill battle. I may be able to squeeze out a win if he doesn't put very many Galactic Legends on defense, but in reality, this guy should crush me. So let's go back to the game and take a look at the board. Once again, I had issues with my audio, so you're going to get voiceover after the fact. You can see that Artanios cleared 3 of my zones here, so let's take a look at what he did. In the bottom zone, he one-shot all 5 squads. In the back zone, he one-shot all 5 squads. In the top zone, he one-shot all 5 squads. You seeing a pattern here? And in the fleet zone, he cleared 2 squads, one-shot both of them, and then he left the home one. So he's probably waiting to see what I do, and then he'll come back later. So let's take a look at his defense. In the top zone, he set Padme, Brevis, Mothma, Dash, and Malgus. In the bottom zone, we have Rey, Starkiller, Hux, Phasma, and CLS. So we're going to start here against Rey, and I'm going to be a little bit crazy here. and I am going to take Starkiller. Now, I've done Starkiller against Rey many times in 5v5, but in 3v3 I wasn't sure how reliable this was. I gave my squad a Datacron with boosts and lots of different stats. So my goal here was to try and get Rey into damage immunity as quickly as possible. If I could get her quickly into damage immunity and then she would come out of damage immunity, I might actually be able to get rid of her before she got her ultimate. The secondary goal is to get Starkiller his ultimate. Okay, so she's in damage immunity, she does a whirlwind, and she's out of damage immunity. So keep going after her. I probably should have healed Palpatine, because there he goes. But I just kept going after Rey. She's got her ultimate now. So now I'm going to try and get rid of her before she can get her ultimate off. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So she gets her ult, but she doesn't kill either of my characters. She's still in the red. And there she goes. So now it's just JTR and BB-8. Now I get my ultimate and pull down the Star Destroyer. That gets rid of JTR, and now it's just the little droid to take care of. Have to wait for him to come out of damage immunity. And a 63 isn't great banners, but I'm happy to get the win there with Starkiller. So now I switch zones to go after Malgus in the top zone. I usually try and do my battles in order from most difficult to least difficult. By my estimation, Malgus was the next most difficult squad. So I took in my Jedi Master Kenobi here. I gave this Datacron that says, when an enemy is defeated by a scoundrel ally, that enemy can't be revived. And Kat is a scoundrel. So if she takes care of Malik or Malgus, they will not get the revive from their Datacron. Now, I was kind of an idiot here, and instead of reducing Kat's cooldowns, I put the damage immunity on Kenobi. I just drew a blank there at the beginning of the battle on what I was supposed to do. It was the dumbest thing. So now I have to wait a bunch of turns for Kat to get her instant kill. Otherwise, I could have gotten rid of Malgus right at the beginning of the battle. That's what I should have done. But I just had a brain fart. So things are not going great for me, when this battle probably could be over by now. I've got my ultimate ready to go, but I don't pop it just yet. So now I pop my ultimate. And I finally get my insta-kill on Malgus, and he does not revive. So the strategy ended up working. It just didn't work nearly as smoothly as it should have because of my mistake right at the beginning of the battle. We take out Revan, and all that's left is Malak. And Malak gets a few drains right here at the end in order to steal some banners from me. So only a 54 there. It could have been much, much better than that. So I switch back to the bottom zone to go after Starkiller. And for this one, I took in SLKR with Crew and Hux. I have the level 9 SLKR Datacron that reflects some damage back onto the dealer. Start with a poke on Mara. Flip the turn back to SLKR and swipe. And at this point, I decided to switch to Palpatine. I like to get rid of Palpatine first. He's usually the squishiest. He's the easiest to kill. And if you get rid of him, then he can't call Starkiller to assist, because Starkiller assists Sith when they attack, but Mara is not a Sith, so he won't assist Mara. But when Mara does her basic, Palpatine assists Mara, and then Starkiller assists Palpatine. So if you get rid of Palpatine, you cut out all of the assisting by Starkiller. That makes it much more difficult for him to get to his ultimate. So we got rid of Starkiller, but my Crew and my Hux were both really hurting. So I didn't lose either one, but only a 52. So thus far, I'm one-shotting the defense, but I am bleeding banners. Next up, I decided to go for an easy one, so I took my Bad Batch against Hux. Rip away their advantage. Try and get some stuns. And only stunned Hux. So that was a little disappointing. And we focus on Kylo. He's kind of the engine here. He drives their team, gives them bonus turn meter. But then we get the taunt from the Stormtrooper, so we have to go after Stormtrooper for a while. Again, rip away their buffs. That gets rid of that taunt. So we can switch back, and I decided to go after Hux. He's a little squishier than Kylo. So we get rid of Hux, and now we can focus again on Kylo. I got them both stunned. And goodbye, Kylo. Now it's just Stormtrooper, and he's going to go down relatively quickly. And finally, a 57. Next up was the Phasma Squad, and here I took in my Imperial troopers. This felt a little overkill to me, but I didn't have the troopers pegged for anything else on his defense. So we went straight after Red Trooper. Then First Order Executioner, and last Phasma. They didn't even get a turn. 57. Definitely overkill there. I was not really sure what to take against CLS, so I eventually settled on Jedi Knight Luke with Hermit Yoda and Old Ben. This didn't seem like the greatest counter, but I couldn't come up with anything else that I was comfortable with. So we call the mass assist, we stun them, give the Master's training to Luke. We're going after the Wookiee first. Taunt with Old Ben. And they're doing pretty good damage to my side characters. Both my Yoda and my Old Ben were really hurting. And then Hermit Yoda went down. So I eventually got rid of Chupio. At this point, I thought I was good. But his Luke kept healing and going after Old Ben. So this is going to be another low banner win if I win. And that has me really concerned, because even if I one-shot his defense, if I continue to bleed banners, I'm just not going to beat him. So 51, not good. That opened up the back zone, where we have Newt, Adrad, QuiGon, Fin Poe, and Geonosians. So next up is QuiGon, and I had Jedi Master Luke available, but I decided to go with Jedi Revan instead. Jedi Master Luke would have been the easy way to go, but I want to stop using Galactic Legends against QuiGon if at all possible, because there are going to be a lot of matches where I don't have a Galactic Legend available to use against QuiGon. So I want to be good at these other counters. The key here is that we don't want to trigger Anakin early, so we get rid of the Foresight and swap the turn to Yoda. And then I don't mark Qui-Gon yet. Instead, I just do a basic. There Anakin went, used his AoE, so now I can get rid of Qui-Gon. And there he goes. That triggered Savior there, and now I can focus down on Anakin. So, quick work of Anakin. And then goodbye Kiadi Mundi. 57. I switched back to the front zone to go after Dash, Han, and Chewie. This is where I decided to use my Jedi Master Luke, and I took in Ezra and Basti here. Dash, Han, and Chewie is a really good threesome, but you don't need the Omicron for this. The Omicron on Dash is specifically for using Vandor with Dash, so this is kind of a waste of the Omicron. So Han shot Ezra first. And then I went after Chewie to get rid of the guard. Goodbye, Chewie. Went after Dash. He did get his AoE off. But all that's left now is Han. So 55 there. Still not great banners, but okay. Next up is Brevis, and here I just did the Wampa solo. You've seen this 100 times. I'll go ahead and fast forward it. Next up, we've got Mon Mothma, and this is the best Mothma comp with both Katarn and Cara Dune Relic. So normally I use Iden against Mothma, but I have my General Skywalker sitting there on the bench, so I decided to use him. He'll prevent any revives. So they go straight after General Skywalker, as expected. Cara Dune is taunting, so I have to go after her first. Put the armor shred on her. And then take her down. And Mothma will not be able to bring her back. There's no AoE on the other side, so my two clones shouldn't take any damage. And a 56. Padme with Sarge and Cody. This is not a great squad, but it's still Padme, so you still have to be careful. So I went with Wedge, Han, and Chewie here. We went straight after Padme, and of course, with all of the attacking out of turn that my squad does, she's going to keep regaining bonus protection, but my squad's damage is so great that we can cut through that bonus protection. At least that was my hope. So down goes Padme, and now the other two will just crumple. So 56 there. Doing a little better on banners. In the fleets, there's a surprise. Instead of Executor, there's Profundity, but you'll notice no Millennium Falcon. And on the Thrawn fleet, no TIE Bomber. So back to the squad zone. Against Adrad, I took in my Bounty Hunters. This has been one of my standard counters against Adrad lately. It's not without risk. Now, because there's no tank on the other side, I can target who I need to target in order to get the contract as quickly as possible. So we start off targeting Jin, and then switch over to Cassian. We're at 50%. Heal up. 70%. And there's contract. Delete Adrad. And then I started focusing down Cassian. He has the really big hit that could just one-shot one of my characters. Tried to stun him, it didn't work. So we're making pretty good progress on Cassian here, just with our normal attacks. So when the Disintegrate rolls around again, I decide to use it against Jyn. And then focus down Cassian. Make sure everybody's all healed up. And a 57. Against Newt, I took in my Padme Squad here. Padme, Snips, and Mace. Started off going after Droideka. Big concern is getting one shot by Droideka. But of course, Jango can also do big damage. Droideka rolled up, but I do have a couple of Dispels on my squad. I hit the Shatter Point whenever possible. That reduces the opponent's statistics. We got rid of the damage immunity on the Droideka. He took a big hit, but didn't get her down, and goodbye Droideka. Jango's out of damage immunity, so we go after him. Pay off the extortion whenever we need to. Jango's down once. And Jango's down twice. So now we just need to take out Newt a couple of times. He's not really a threat on his own. I did lose protection on all three characters, so not great banners. But not terrible banners. 55. Next up is Fin Poe, and I went round and round in circles trying to figure out what to use here, and eventually I settled on Iden. Iden gets the first turn, so we went straight after Resistance Hero Finn. Got him stunned. Increased their cooldowns. And just kept stunning Resistance Hero Finn. Tried to terminate him, but didn't work. But got him down nonetheless. There's no revive on this squad, so missing on the terminate is not a big deal. Now we've got the taunt from OG Finn. So I put the death mark on him. But then, unfortunately, they stunned Iden. So I wasn't able to get OG Finn down while he had the death mark. But then I just reapplied it. And now Iden gets her turn. And goodbye OG Finn. So now it's just Poe, and he doesn't stand a chance. We get him stunned. And goodbye Poe. 57 banners. Well, last up we have the Geos. And so I take in Vader with Red Trooper. Now a lot of people say, just do a Vader solo. You'll see why I take in Red Trooper in this battle. I give him the last Datacron. And we start with Merciless. And a Force Crush. We throw at the Spy. And now, look at how strong the Alpha is. He's not hurting that badly. So having the Red Trooper in there is actually really good. So I Force Crush on the Brute. And I get the assist from the Red Trooper. And there goes the Brute. And then the Red Trooper takes out the Alpha. So 58. Wouldn't have been any better with a Vader solo. Might have gone worse. On to the fleets. Against the Profundity, I took in the Executor. And remember, there's no Millennium Falcon on the other side. And that's really important because what determines whether you win this or not is if your Razor Crest survives the opening barrage. Without the Millennium Falcon on the other side, I think that's much more likely. So they get lots of assists there, but they're not doing quite as much damage as they do with the Millennium Falcon. So my Razor Crest is fine, I heal him up, and then I go after Dash Rendar ship, the Outrider. Put the mark on the Outrider. And goodbye Dash. They did not land the Shield Disruptor for once, but it wouldn't matter if they did because my Houndstooth got the next turn and would have cleansed it. Biggs comes in. And I bring in the IG-2000. We put a stun on Biggs. And then we go after the Y-Wing. The Ghost is hiding in the shadows as usual. And focus down the mass assist on the Y-Wing, and goodbye Y-Wing. Now on to Biggs. We get the mark on Biggs. We call the assist. And bye-bye Biggs. So it's just the Ghost now. We bring in Boba's ship. And goodbye. Never even got around to blowing up the Profundity. Next I went after the Chimera, and again no TIE Bomber on this fleet, and I took in my Malevolence. The Malevolence is a good counter here even when there is a TIE Bomber, but without the bomber, I could just focus straight on Vader. So I got Vader stunned, then I put the Buzz Droids on the other team, brought in my Spy, and goodbye Vader. Then we took out the TIE Fighter, and they brought in the TIE Interceptor. She had foresight, so I focused on the shuttle, took out the shuttle fairly quickly. Put the Buzz Droids on the Interceptor. And then goodbye Interceptor. 69 banners there. In the meantime, Artanios has come back and attacked, taken out my home one, and he's got a 2045. So against the Raddus, I take in my Negotiator. As usual, they go after Anakin first, and I go after their Falcon first. We got the taunt from the dumb ship. And we take out their bomber. Focus back to the Falcon. And bring in Plo Koon. Get a little healing and push the turn meter. And stay on the Falcon. We got buff immunity on the Falcon. Put unending loyalty on all the ships. And goodbye Falcon. Plo Koon with the kill. They brought in the Ebon Hawk because this resistance fleet is still not complete. And I get my ultimate and drop the bombs on them. Keep the taunt on the Y-Wing, and Poe blows up from the bombs. And then bye-bye Ebon Hawk for another 69. And there is the win. So I was worried about being inefficient, but apparently Artanios was even more inefficient. 2052 to 2045 is the final. I had some fun with this one, doing a few different counters, trying gas against Mothma, using Iden against a squad other than Mothma, having more success with Jedi Knight Revan against QuiGon, and with the Bounty Hunters against Adrad, perfecting those counters. So overall, very pleased with this outcome. So 6-2 on the season. I'm going to finish at 6-3 because my opponent in the final round is almost 10 million GP, all 7 Galactic Legends. Sets a really difficult defense. I'm not even going to be able to clear a single zone. So let me show you the matchup here. So here's the comparison with Milkman, about 9.8 million GP, 171 Gear 13 characters, faster mods, more 6-stop mods, more than double the total relic levels, a lot more datacrons, all 7 Galactic Legends, and he puts 4 of them on defense, along with Starkiller and Malgus, the Profundity, and even the Grand Inquisitor and the Scythe. So just an absurd matchup. Just more stupidity from the broken matchup system. I had a few matchups that were kind of like this in my favor this time. I'd prefer not to have mismatches either way. So I'd like to thank Artanios for the match. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.